I want to share with you the legal requirements to start any small business in any state. Okay, there are some pieces of legislation that are kind of standard, uniform across the nation, and there are some that really relate to a specific state. So first of all, let me give you the overview you need to pay attention to. So let's talk about the business structure and designation requirements. So first, it's really important to understand that once the mission and strategy of a business become clear, an important step is to decide on the business's legal structure. And so the choice you make can affect everything from the way you operate the business to the liabilities you will face to the way you pay taxes. So let me give you a few common ideas. So you have sole proprietorship, you have partnership, you have a limited liability company, and you have corporation. So those are the four types of business structure you can have if you actually open any small business. Let's first talk about sole proprietorship. The simple structure for one owner business is a sole proprietorship. As a sole proprietor, a business owner has relatively few regulatory burdens and a high degree of control and flexibility, right? Basically, there is no paperwork required to establish a sole proprietorship. It's automatically created as soon as you start doing business. However, if you will be using a business name other than your own name, you'll probably need to register your business name as a DBA with your state or locality. A sole proprietorship does not form a distinct business entity, which means what? It means that there is no legal difference between the business's assets, debts, and other liabilities and those of the owner. So this creates a risky situation for owners, and because they are on the hook for any legal or financial failures of the business. And believe me, failures happen all the time. You can't take on partners and remain a sole proprietorship, and your ability to get a loan for your business will hinge on your personal credit. So sole proprietors report business income and expenses on their personal tax returns, and they pay income and self-employment taxes on their profits. And some business founders use sole proprietorships to test the business idea before committing to a more formal structure and paying the higher fees associated with those structures. So besides sole proprietorship, we have partnership. So there are several kinds of partnerships. If you go into business with other people and don't set up a formal business entity, your business is automatically considered a general partnership. So like sole proprietors, partners in a general partnership are fully liable for all business debts and obligations, okay? And they are also liable for actions taken by their partners, a major reason why most lawyers encourage businesses to form an LLC or corporation instead of remaining a general partnership. And general partnerships are taxed similarly to sole proprietorships, with partners reporting their share of income, expenses, credits, profits, and losses on their personal tax returns. So, and other kinds of partnerships include a limited partnership, an LP, which stipulates that at least one general partner assumes personal liability for the business affairs, while other partners are passive investors with limited liability. Limited partnerships are common in certain industries, such as real estate development. You also have a limited liability partnership, or LP, which provides limited liability for partners, but the specifics vary by states. Boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. You are going to enjoy today's conversation. So we have partnerships. We have sole proprietorship. You also have two other types of business entities. You have limited liability company (LLC) and you have a corporation. So a limited liability company, or LLC, balances the relative ease and flexibility of a partnership structure with the increased risk protection and potential tax advantages of a corporate structure. LLC owners, known as members, are not personally liable for business obligations. By default, LLC members are considered self-employed, and they file and pay taxes in the same way as owners of a general partnership or sole proprietorship. But an LLC can also elect to be taxed as a corporation, by the way. So to set up an LLC, you must file articles of organization with your state, and an LLC should also have an operating agreement that basically details how the LLC will be run and the rights and responsibilities of the members. Many small business owners choose LLCs for their simplicity and flexibility. And you also have the fourth type of a business structure. You have a corporation. So with a corporation, the owner's liability for business obligations is limited to the amount they have invested in the company. So business creditors cannot go after their personal assets. And corporations have a well-defined organizational structure that includes the board of directors, officers, and owners who are known as shareholders. And basically what happens here is that a corporation may pay corporate income tax as a C Corp, or it may be eligible for pass-through taxation as an S Corp. Corporations tend to have more rigorous record-keeping and reporting requirements than LLCs. By the way, you can be an LLC and also file taxes as an S Corp or a C Corp, by the way. And basically, a corporation is formed by filing articles of incorporation with the state. And corporations should also have bylaws because corporations have a predictable structure and their shares are easy to transfer. Corporations are well suited to businesses hoping to attract outside investment, especially when those investors are also foreigners. Boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about legal requirements to start any small business this year. Let me give you a few pro tips here, okay? Let's talk about business name registration requirements. So first of all, we have business structure and designation requirements. Now let's talk about business name registration requirements. So when we talk about this, you have several layers here. Business owners should explore several different ways to register and protect the business name. So you have entity names, you have trademarks, you have DBAs, and you have domains. So let's first talk about the entity names. So if you form an LLC, corporation, or other type of business entity, your business name will be registered with the state. So everything happens at the state level. So that's why we say on this show that forming a company, can be an LLC or a corporation, is a state affair. The state will not allow another business to be formed with the same name as yours. Now, what happens if you have a business that operates in multiple states? Then what you want to do is you want to actually search the USPTO, the United States Patent and Trademark Office. You want to go to uspto.gov and search for that name at the federal level. That way you are sure that nobody's going to come and actually file a lawsuit against you or whatever, okay? So this is for entity names. What about trademarks? Well, a federal trademark helps protect a business name nationwide, right? That's what I just talked about. You can apply for a trademark through the USPTO. Though trademarks are not required to operate a business, registering a name may be a good idea to protect the exclusivity rights that come with a registered trademark. Because if you do things like illegally, if you register your trademark, you are able to actually derive any benefits that actually will come from your name. Because see, the thing is, if you become successful, you might actually attract the wrong kind of attention, especially from counterfeiters and other rivals who want to challenge your business supremacy, so to speak. Okay, so entity names, trademarks are really kind of important, and you want to really sort of shield yourself from any kind of legal attacks or any kind of legal risk. Now let's talk about DBAs. So again, I'll talk about domains later on, but I want to talk about DBAs. So doing business as DBA is often known as a trade name or an assumed name. Okay. And what happens here is that you usually must register a DBA if your business is using a name other than its official legal name. Sole proprietorships and partnerships don't need a DBA if they're doing business under the owner's names. LLCs and corporations don't need a DBA if they are using the business's official name. It is possible for multiple businesses in the same state to share the same DBA name. Yeah, this happens all the time. Depending on your state and the type of business you have, you may need to file your DBA with the state or with your locality. It can be with county officials, or it can be with township officials, and so on and so forth. So that's for DBAs. What about domains? Well, a domain or web address is unique to the buyer and can actually be an essential tool to a business's online presence. And we know nowadays, if you don't have an online presence, you are toast, right? So you need to have an online presence. Though there is no legal requirements to have a domain, obtaining a domain name that matches your business name can help you brand your business and minimize the chance your business will be actually confused with another business online. Having a domain name does not establish a business entity or fulfill any other legal requirements, nor does it give you the exclusive rights to use your business name nationwide. Okay, but it's just one of those things where you are able to actually build what we call branding. You need to build your brand, your company's brand. This is really important to really think of it that way. One thing I want to say also is that when we talk about all the names that I talked about, like a business name, registration requirements, entity names, trademarks, DBAs, and domains, you got to always think about what is your brand and how would actually qualifying for an entity name or preserving your entity name help your brand. Because at the end of the day, you might be thinking, well, I'm new, but once you're an established business, you're going to care a lot about your brand, because your brand might not be as prestigious right now, but if you start making money, if you've been around for a while and customers like you, they like your products and services, your brand is going to actually increase in credibility and reputation. And at that point, you would want to protect your brand even further. But it's better to actually take the right tools, the right measures at the beginning to protect your brand. Boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about legal requirements to start any small business this year. I want to talk to you about tax identification numbers. So a federal tax identification number, also known as an EIN, so employer identification number, is basically a 9-digit number for businesses. So almost all businesses must get an EIN, though sole proprietors and single member LLCs with no employees may be able to use the owner's social security number instead. So you can get an EIN for free at the IRS website, which offers specific, detailed information about requirements on its EIN application page. So when we talk about EIN, you can apply online, not a problem. You can really do everything online, or you can say, you know what, I want to file some paperwork to actually get my EIN. In that case, you need to file something called Form SS4. And Form SS4, it will take about 2 to 6 weeks for the IRS to get back to you. But if you file online, you get notification, you get the decision ASAP. Okay, this is why we advise all our clients to actually do things online, not a problem. And so basically, and also you actually can do that. The EIN application process is free. However, there are some companies, including LLC formation services and corporation formation services, that actually include as part of their packages the EIN certification, the EIN filing. So, and they will charge you for it. Okay, so this is for the EIN. This is for the. Now let's talk about. By the way, you might need a tax identification number at the state level also, because the EIN is a federal tax identification number. You might need also for your state ID. For your state taxes, you might need to have an employer identification number. So, but it really depends on the state you're in. So everything is different. Okay. Also, you want to think about licenses and permits. So business owners should actually anticipate potential requirements from all levels of government. So a federally issued license or permits is required for many businesses whose activities fall within a federally regulated field, such as transportation, agriculture, alcoholic beverage production and sales, broadcasting, and use of natural resources. And a state or local license or permits may be required in a variety of business categories as well, all depending on state and local law. Okay, so for example, let's say if you sell goods in a state that collects sales tax, you will need a seller's permit. Most localities require actually businesses to obtain a general business license or permits, and you may have additional state or local licensing requirements that apply to your specific industry. City or county business licensing agencies can be good places to learn what special permits or licenses might be necessary. Let's talk about business insurance, okay? And so business insurance is also an important requirement to start any small business this year. So no matter how well a business is run, liability risks can never be eliminated, right? Stuff happens. So risk is part of the cost of doing business, and it pays to be prepared. So depending on the circumstance, Certain insurance policies may actually be legally required as a safeguard, much like personal auto insurance is. And so many businesses rely on an insurance broker to help determine the appropriate coverages and amounts of coverage for their situation, such as, let me give you a few common types. So you have general liability insurance, you have product liability insurance, you have professional liability insurance, you have commercial property insurance, workers' compensation insurance, and auto liability insurance. Now, the actual insurance that you need will depend upon the industry you're in. Okay, it's one of those things where you have to see what really applies to your specific industry. So when we talk about general liability insurance, this is basically recommended as the bare minimum of coverage for any business. It insures against near universal liabilities like damage to company property or personal injuries that occur as a result of doing business. You also have product liability insurance. This covers alleged harm from defective products and might be important for businesses that produce and distribute goods of any kind. You also have to think about professional liability insurance. This is also known as errors and omissions insurance, E&O insurance. This covers claims of professional negligence on the part of any business employee. You got to also think about commercial property insurance, which actually offers additional coverage for land and facilities that could suffer damage from issues like fire, flood, and vandalism. And you also have workers' compensation insurance that covers employees who get hurt on the job and is actually required for any business with employees in all states but Texas. And finally, you got to also think about auto liability insurance, which actually covers accidents involving company-owned vehicles and employees driving on company time. So I'll just give you a non-exhaustive list of insurance policy that you might have to actually sign up for. Let me give you a bonus before we actually close to this conversation. So the bottom line here is what? So depending upon the location and type of business, getting a new small business property, getting a new small business properly registered, named, licensed, and insured can be a daunting process. Doing this work right can prove worthwhile though, because legal troubles can pile up quickly from regulatory agencies, other businesses, customers, and even a company's own employees. You never know. Stuff happens. Business founders take on significant risks when starting a small business venture, but much of this risk can be mitigated by ensuring legal requirements to starting the business are taken care of as early as possible. Okay. So what I'm trying to say here is that, if you have to start a business, you got to really decide the entity type. Okay. Do you want to be an LLC? Do you want to be an C corporation? Do you want to be a partnership? Now, setting up your own LLC can be done in 7 easy steps. So you basically, you do not need an LLC formation service. No, you can do it yourself. Decide a business name. Designate a registered agent. This could be you also. Get a copy of your state's LLC Articles of Organization form. Prepare your LLC Article of Organization form. File the Articles of Organization form. Create an operating agreement and keep your LLC active. Okay. And the thing here is that a lot of people really confuse LLCs and corporations. I mean, fairly, like if you were to look at things from a broad perspective, LLCs and corporations are similar, but distinctly different business structures that come with their own strengths and weaknesses. In general, corporations have more standardized and rigid operating structures with more record keeping and reporting requirements. Okay. And so, but the bottom line here is that there is no best business structure. Everything depends on your business model, your state also, and your industry. The best business structure for your business will depend entirely on what kind of company you form, your industry, and what you want to accomplish. But any successful business structure will be one that helps your company set realistic goals and follow through on set tasks. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just talking to you about legal requirements to start any small business this year. So let me do a quick recap here. So I give you the overview. So our overview, basically, I talked to you about the 4 types of businesses. sole proprietorship, partnership, limited liability company, and corporation. I also talked about the pro tips. I give you a few pro tips around business name registration requirements. I talked to you about tax identification numbers. I talked to you about licenses and permits. And I talked to you about business insurance. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.